welcome to another episode of The Proud Skill Worker. Today we have an opportunity to interview Dan Shoemaker, president of Shoemaker Demolition Inc. in Ventura, California. Dan, I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know this is a huge season for you. I know you guys are busy all over. I just want to take an opportunity and ask, how did you get into the skilled trades? How did you find yourself in the industry you're in?
First of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm happy to be here. I grew up working different construction, working for general contractors, working for drilling companies, things like that. So I've been in a lot of different trades, done a lot of different things throughout the years. So that's kind of started out young after high school,
How'd you end up in business for yourself, Dan? I mean, is this something that you acquired from somebody or you started on your own after just all the exposure?
Actually, I was looking for a job at the time, and I wasn't able to lock in any kind of work, and so I was just kind of, my back was against a corner a few years ago. I was trying to find solid work to support my new daughter and things like that, and I knew I had to make the moves to make something happen, and so I just started this little hauling business, and just kind of hustling, just picking up whatever jobs I could, and then it kind of started growing more and more. And just I kept investing like whatever money I would make back into the business, buying more equipment, buying bigger truck, better trailers. Got license, my contractor's license for demolition, and then just kept going like that. So that's kind of how it started.
No, that's great. So started off hauling, started off buying trucks, trailers, bigger, and then you started knocking things down. Tell me about how Dan knocks things down.
You definitely want to cover all your bases before you start demolishing anything. You want to make sure you've capped all the utilities to the structure, whatever it is, gas, electric, water, all the different things, notified all the different departments, got proper permitting, that everybody has a game plan, everybody's on the same page, the whole crew's focused, and you have a plan of attack for it, because it can be very dangerous. You have a huge structure is coming down, and it can be unpredictable. And so you want everybody there to be really focused and be really on point. And basically, when you're trying to take a building down or a house down, the main goal is just to get it on the ground as fast as possible, because then it becomes safer once it's on the ground. So then once it's on the ground, then you process it a little bit and you want to haul it out as fast as possible, so that obviously you can make the most money on the job. The faster, the better.
What's the largest building you've ever brought down?
Like large houses and parking coverings, like really large parking coverings, parking structures, small parking structures. Yeah.
It's great. I've never knocked anything like a house over, so you have me beat. I'm curious to know, in the industry you're in and coming up and through the trades and even starting your own business and now owning the business, what's been the biggest challenge you've faced, Dan?
You got to be tough to stick it out, because you get busy, and then you're trying to find jobs, and then once you find the jobs, then you're trying to find the people to help you get the jobs done, and trying to complete it and be profitable. But I think the main thing is just trying to find the leads when you're first starting out, because nobody knows who you are as a new company, and trying to establish credibility. Nobody calling, and so you got to try to figure out how to get people to want to, you got to find those leads. So that's the hardest part, is just finding the leads. It's like a roller coaster at first, because you're scrambling, but I think as you keep going on, you start to pick up more and more momentum. And it can be kind of tough, because sometimes you got to lowball it too, to be able to get those jobs starting out. You can't demand like the high premium if you don't have, a lot of skill or a lot of experience in a certain thing. So it's kind of a hustle to start out with. It's a little bit of a grind. But then as you do more jobs and you gain more and more experience, then you can start asking for more money, and people start to, want your services more and more. You have a little more money to advertise. So it starts to get a little more momentum, which is, that's what it takes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you describe the struggles that it is to start a business is new leads, gaining experience, and then gaining more income and being able to build on your book. Those are reciprocated and matched, I think, in skilled workers and in skilled labor in the field is in order to gain more experience, you need to find a company that's going to invest in you. You have to find a company who's going to give you an opportunity. You have to get experience by doing that over and over and over again. And then that's where you start to request more money for your skills. You have a higher skill set. You're able to provide more value. So as a business owner, it's interesting for me to hear you say, like, hey, I'm going through this 3-phase process of building up my leads or your opportunities, and then building up your experience or your jobs, and then building up your income, which is also how a skill worker would look at it at the end, is my income is going up as my increase and my experience increases. So it's super cool to see those match. Like a business is trying to do what a person is trying to do for themselves. They just have to do it a little differently, but it's always incremental growth. It doesn't typically happen overnight. And as you just described, that beginning part is a grind. You got to sometimes be willing to come in and start a little lower on the price. You got to be willing to come in and gain experience so you can prove yourself or build your resume or build your book. So definitely super interesting to tie those two things together. I don't know if that correlates to you at all, but
no, exactly.
It was really fun.
It's the same thing. And that's the attitude to take if you want to become successful quickly, because if you want to be able to lead, you have to follow. So like you have to become really good at a trade. If you want to demand more money for whatever your skill is, whatever your service, just buckle down, focus in, and be like, I'm going to grind this out. I'm going to learn. I'm going to make myself valuable. I'm going to make myself, I'm going to educate myself on this. I'm going to become quality, and then I'm going to be able to ask for more money. You know, that's the same for a worker. That's the same for an operator, for a business owner, for anybody.
Yeah, you said something that I think is so crucial that everybody needs to hear, and I think people need to hear this more and more. In order to lead, you have to know how to follow. That's something that I learned in the Marine Corps really, really young in my Marine Corps career. Is doesn't matter who you are, what you do, how good you are. If you can't follow orders, if you can't follow another, you're never going to lead, because nobody will be able to trust you. So you said it, you hit it on the head. And I think it's so important for people to be real about, hey, sometimes you got to follow if you want to be a leader.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Appreciate you saying that.
You know, thank you for your service too. My brother was Marine too. So I know you guys are
Semper Fi.
hardcore. The thing about it too is that if the times where you can do that, where you can just like check the ego at the door and be like, who cares? If you know, you can learn something from everybody too. A lot of people that have taught me a lot, different people in my life, you know, maybe sometimes there can be difficult people, but you know, if you just be like, forget it, like I'm going to focus in, I'm going to learn here. I'm going to get the information. And you take that kind of approach, then things can start moving really fast, you know?
That's right. Your ego is not your amigo. Sorry, I have a good friend in my life who uses that all the time. So kind of next here, Dan, what we're going to do is we have some questions here from some actual skill workers in the field targeted at yourself as a business owner, as somebody who's looking to provide value to their employees. So we're going to jump right in, and I want to get your honest feedback on how these things work. So one of our questions is, how do you get your employer to invest in training programs? So if someone wanted you to invest in a training program from them, how would they come to you and request that?
I mean, I guess it depends. Can you give a little more context?
Yep. So say you have someone on your crew who wants to get more into the demolition side and less into the cleanup side. And I'm not 100% sure how the break goes, but if someone's like, hey, I really want to learn to drive or get trained on the excavator, how do I go about doing that? How do I go about building a training program with you to where I can get experience, get certified on that, and develop my career through you guys?
I mean, first of all, they have to start out by establishing that credibility by showing up early every day, working hard, having a positive attitude, and then and even the guy that's just starting out, they're going to gain a lot of respect from everybody just for that. If they could see a spot for growth by talking to the owner frequently, a lot, bugging them, talking to them, then that message is eventually going to get through if there's that position. And it's kind of like there's so much noise for business owners and for contractors, and there's so many different things coming at them. You got to really fire in hard and frequently and prove it, to show that you got what it takes. Be the squeaky wheel, just kind of like bug them, I guess. That's what you'd probably do.
Yeah, I mean, what it sounds like is what you're saying is just stay persistent. I think that people in any industry, whether it's manufacturing or construction or demolition, I think people get confused because they're like, well, I asked for it once and it never happened.
Yeah.
And the reality of what you just said is everybody's being asked 1,000 things. Make sure you keep asking it. Make sure you keep that on the forefront, because one, is that still something you want to pursue? Two, is that something that you have a reason to pursue? Continue to tell people, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to grow. I want to grow. I want to grow.
Yeah. And there's probably 5 different people that the person is considering giving that opportunity to. And you know what I mean? It's just like anything in life. If you're this one person and they keep asking you, and you're showing up and you're working hard every day and you're doing a really good job, you know what? This guy's got the confidence to take on that responsibility. He believes in himself enough that he's going to bug me every day about it. like I'm going to give them a shot at least, right?
That's right. And you said it, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the louder you are and the more you say you want to grow and develop, the higher that chance is going to come to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, jumping in and our next question, and this is directed right at you, but I like to turn this podcast and these things towards actual skilled workers in the field. So I'm going to kind of adjust it a little bit. It says, being a small business owner and a one-man army, what are some ways to advance? And what I'm going to kind of ask you to elaborate on is that process you took inside of your own career is now you're a business owner, now you're a one-man army, now you've built all that. Tell me the story of that advancement that you took, because you went from a hauling company to a demolition company. Dan, that's not, those are not like fields necessarily. So I want to understand how you built who you are and what you are, and some of the attributes, some of the skills you applied that you think business owners and then skilled laborers, skilled workers can apply to their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I mean, I just had this Toyota Tacoma, this little old piece of junk Toyota Tacoma, and I took a jet ski trailer. I worked a day for this guy. And I traded the day's work for the jet ski trailer, and we patched some sides on there. We welded some sides on there. I took this little tiny jet ski trailer, turned it into a little hauling trailer, and we started just hustling, just doing whatever kind of jobs I could. It's just an idea. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just like I had the idea to do it and I'm going for it. It's just that's all it takes. That's where anybody who wants to start their own business or do something, they can make it happen. It's just like you have to just get ready to a lot of setbacks, a lot of failures, a lot of like hard, difficult times. But that's the process. It's totally doable. Anybody can do it as long as you stick it out and you're tough. I think that people, if they're interested in going out on their own and starting a business, is that kind of like the crux of your question? Is like, what would I say to somebody who's wanting to start out, go out on their own as a business?
Yeah, I think if you want to going out on your own, or even just advancing yourself personally. I mean, what are the skills and attributes you use to develop those things? As you talked about, I think you even said it. If you have an idea or a dream, go get it. And I kind of want to elaborate on that piece, because I think you can apply that to any part of your life, whether it's working for someone, working for your own business, anything. You can kind of take those principles and apply. So what does that look like to you?
They got to get knowledge. They have to you'd have to get the knowledge, and you got to become hungry to get the knowledge and realize how much it can benefit your life by reading books, by listening to inspirational podcasts, by taking responsibility for your life. If you can understand that it's all up to you and that the sky's the limit, but it's all about, I have to get the information and get it inside of me and then apply it. Then you can start to really make it happen. It's like you have to have the knowledge, and so just even if they didn't want to start their own business, if they just want to grow in the business they're with, or whatever it is, you have to realize that it's going to be about developing their skills and specializing in their skills, developing the fortitude to stick it out, and maintaining a positive attitude, learning how to direct their energy and their thoughts and motivate themselves every day. That's what it's all about, to realize. But I think if a lot of people realize what the potential that they had, that they'd do it, they would do more. But I feel like a lot of times we're just so beaten down or something that we feel like we could never really step out. We don't have what it takes or whatever to go to another level with things. But I think if people, start to discipline themselves every day more and more, if you maybe start working out, start reading positive information and maintaining a positive attitude. People got to realize that your attitude and your thoughts, you're in control of them. That being a victim, it doesn't get you anywhere. The second you take complete responsibility for every aspect of your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, then you can really start to shift the course of your life, because then you can start to make changes.
No, I love it. I think for me, I would summarize everything you just said. If someone said, hey, summarize Cliff Note, I would say all of that is take responsibility for where you are, where you want to be, and what you want to become. And I think all of what you just said for me is so real, that all of us end up in situations in life or in situations professionally or personally that we could look to point blame or shift. But taking responsibility is crucial for our attitude, for our skills, for our demeanor, for our discipline. And I think that's something that all of us can apply to our lives, is just take that responsibility for who you are today and change it if that's not who you want to be.
Yeah, because I mean, it feels good to be a victim sometimes and play the blame game and all this other stuff, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It's like that. The more you can just be like, I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna own it because now I can change it. Now I can see what I'm gonna do and make it happen. But I mean, I get like excited, to try to give people advice. They want to do something or step out and do more because I know what the answer is. The answer is you have to seek knowledge every single day and you got to apply it. And the answer is right there, and it's the way we think and the way we act. That's what's going to determine where you're going. So you have to change your thoughts. You have to start thinking like the person that you want to be, and so kind of stuff.
It's great. It's great. I love it. And I think, again, whether you're a business owner or a skilled worker in the field or work in manufacturing, that principle applies to all of us. Is no matter what, that principle applies.
Exactly. It's the same thing. If you want to go in your company and rise through the ranks and everything, it's just the exact same principles.
Yeah. So huge. Moving into that, I think I'm going to ask you, that's what you want out of people. That's how you would give people advice is, what are you seeing as the most concerning trend in the industry? And it could be your industry. It can be all of skilled trades. I'm not sure how much you're tracking the rest of the industry or trades on the great resignation, on the huge migration of job shift, all of those things. But what are you seeing as the most concerning trend in the industry as a whole?
Well, I mean, obviously the inflation and everything like that is you can see it, you can see the cost of materials like doubling and stuff like that, and fuel prices and all that. So it's just new challenges. It's new situations that everybody has to deal with, everybody has to navigate through. I feel like there's always been problems, always going to be solutions as well, and so I just, I think that people would be best to just try to focus on the solutions, and just recognize all the different things that you're going to have to deal with and encounter, and that it's a gnarly time where you got to be really focused or else you can lose big on jobs, with materials keep going up and things like that. I think it's the best of times. It's the worst of times. I would think it's best to focus on solutions and get really practical about what is in your control. What can I control today? Not what the world,
That's right.
What's happening and what the trends are and everything like that. I mean, just be aware of it, but what can I do today to make it happen?
And then on an optimistic note, because we like to finish things here on a positive note, what are you most excited about? Like what's happening in the industry? What's happening that you're just like, hey, this is the greatest thing?
Yeah, it seems like things are really booming, It's just right now, everything is, there's all kinds of opportunities. I'm just so excited to be here in Southern California working and be right here at this time right now. It's just there's so much opportunity. There's so much there's so many things going on, and I'm just so excited to be here. And I just want to make the most of it. Try to really do something big.
I love it. I appreciate you taking time to answer some of the questions from some of the skilled workers in the field and skilled laborers in the field who responded and reached out. This is the part of the show where I open it up to you. I want to give you basically an opportunity, a platform to speak out any wisdom you have, any real genuine feelings you have about, hey, I want to tell this to everyone in the industry. Every chance I get to talk, this is what I say. I'm going to open this up to you and just give you 5, 10, 45 minutes, hopefully not, about just what's something you want to say to everybody in the industry who's listening to this, who's watching this online.
Just that the sky's the limit and that we set our own barriers, we set our own walls up, like we set our own limits. And that there's no limit. If you want to be running jobs and having multiple crews or start your own business or whatever it is, you could do it. You can do it. It's just, you just start working on it every day and you fix your sights on where you want to go and you start to make it happen. And if you feel like you want to do it, then go do it. Go start to make that happen. Go step out and make that happen. And because the thing is whether a lot of guys, I feel like they think about, they're working for somebody else and they're thinking about becoming a contractor on their own and going down their own. And, whether they do it this year or 5 years from now, you're going to encounter the same headaches, the same setbacks, the same failures. So you might as well just get it over with and do it now, I don't know, it's like, I hope I could say something that would encourage people to just do the best they can and do really, really good job and shoot for the stars, and just go for it, make it happen, and realize that, like a lot of times, a lot of people, they'll try to make things more complicated than they are. Like a lot of contractors or sometimes people, you know what I mean? Though, and it's really not that complicated, you just you go out there, find the jobs, and then you go get the jobs done, and so anybody who is wanting to become a contractor, I'd say just go do it. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, give them advice and whatever else,
I love it. Dan, thank you so much again for being on the show. Everybody, Dan Shoemaker, president of Shoemaker Demolition Inc. out of Ventura County, California. For everybody on the show, thank you so much for watching, for listening, for downloading on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you're watching. Continue to ask all of you to reach out, comment. If you want to be a guest on the show, please reach out, leave us a comment, drop us a line. And we'd love to have you on to talk about trends in the industry, what you're seeing as the struggles are, and just hear your voice. So thank you, everybody, for continuing to listen, continuing to be a part of what we're doing here, and have a wonderful day.